don't have a rule book. Okay, so I realized when I talked to parents in my program about post religious parenting, initially they thought that that meant raising kids with like no values or moral compass, or it was something that was completely separated from anything spiritual. And that's not the case. Post religious parenting is not about removing values, it's about rebuilding them and rebuilding them in a way that is tailored to your family. And it is one of the most intentional and freeing parenting paths that I feel I could have taken. And so in this video, I want to talk about specifically what is post religious parenting, what it allows you to do for you and your family, and how to actually implement it. So when I left the church, like a lot of people, I wasn't just leaving my belief system, I was leaving the entire framework I had for other areas of my life, like being a good parent. When I thought about my kids growing up, if they would be lost or feel aimless or be rebellious, that was really intense because I had no guidebook or rule for how I was to prevent that from happening. And that anxiety and that worry and that fear eventually turned into excitement and curiosity because I changed the way that I was talking to myself. Rather than, oh my gosh, I don't have a rule book, it was, oh my gosh, I don't have a rule book. I can write the rule book. I can create the framework. I can spend my energy focused on the things that I actually feel are important for my child to know and to care about rather than this preset list of rules and things that I should do. And so post religious parenting for me really helped alleviate the anxiety of approaching parenting without the rulebook of my religion. A powerful part of post religious parenting is that it actually protects you from all types of dogma, not just religious. By definition, dogma is a principle or a set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true. Says nothing about religion. So if you leave your church, you leave your religion to then just fall into the dogma of a non religious group, have you actually freed yourself? No. And a way you can apply this in day to day life is if your child comes up to you and asks you something like, why do some people think God will punish you if you don't go to church? Or why does God punish people for not going to church? Rather than giving them the answer, which is your viewpoint on the situation, you can simply say, yeah, some people think that and other people don't. What do you think? What this allows your child to understand is it's okay for them to think critically and question certain things. And if their critical thinking leads them to a belief that feels aligned with their values, that's fantastic. But you don't want to give them the prepackaged answers or beliefs. You want them to learn that on their own. So, one thing religion gave us, whether we liked it or not, whether it was healthy or not, was a built in community. Without that built in community of religion, our home relationship became even more important. And this actually worked out really well for us because what happened is that we were able to build what Daniel Siegel and Tina call a secure attachment with our children, which is basically our kids trusting us as a safe space. And we were able to establish that before we were constantly in a community or a group of people outside of our home. That way, I knew if some shit popped off, my kids would tell me. A lot of times in religion, those lines get blurred because one, you have this built in community. You didn't get to pick or assess these people, they are just in your face from jump. And often in religion, there's this narrative that any and all adults, especially the men, are to be treated with absolutely no resistance. So when you have your parents here, but in your community, other adults like a pastor, a preacher, a leader in the church is technically higher up. If this person tells you that there are things that you should not tell your parent or are between you and them, as a child, that checks out. That makes sense. So you are put in a situation where you might be the best parent as you can be, but because you are involved in a community where the structure by default puts you at a lower place than some of the other adults in the community, that is a very tricky place to be. So you want to go beyond just having a good relationship with your kid. You want them to know that no matter what, no matter who, you are the one to come to. From there, you have the freedom to safely grow and join other communities out there that will benefit your family. Another huge part of post faith is it doesn't mean anti spiritual. Okay. It means that you let your kids explore big questions without giving them, again, those prepackaged answers. So for us, we read stories about other cultures, we talk about traditions of different cultures, not as a truth, not learning about Diwali because we follow the spiritual beliefs or traditions, but so that way you can connect with humans in several different ways and in a very meaningful way. You can shout separation of church and state until you are blue in the face. But we have to come to terms with the reality that religion is so embedded in culture, in politics, in just geographically where certain religions are in the world. That's a thing to be understood and studied. The way that certain people view the changes in the seasons, view changes in the world. When you understand that through their religious beliefs, you can better connect with individuals because you cannot be ignorant of an entire continent or country's religious beliefs and dictate decisions. That's just my personal opinion. And so, raising your kids who are the closest thing to perfection that there ever is, and their brains are just firing neurologically in all different places. When you give a human being at that stage the freedom to explore different cultures and beliefs and systems and use critical thinking and explore things, some of the most incredible sayings, conversations will happen. And it's really enjoyable as a parent to go through those curious moments along with your child. So, if you've left faith and you're raising kids, I just want to tell you that you are doing one of the bravest things that you can do as a parent. And that is providing your kids the space and the permission to truly be themselves, to be curious. It's not always easy, but it is absolutely worth it. Your child will know and understand that at home, their love is not conditioned on belief. If this resonates with you, I've put together a few guides that are free. You just go to the description, sign up for the email list, and I'll send those over for you so you can practice and start to have a framework to begin to build your family structure on. I would love to know in the comments, what is your definition of post religious parenting, and what are some takeaways from this video that has been helpful?